Olympic team star. I think this is the 84, 85. And, it's graded 7. SCD, Sports Collectors Digest, they did the 3 subgrades. They combined edges and corners and then did centering and surface. Okay. And it's a pretty clean look. And I found them to be, pretty stringent. They eventually shifted over to the white label, and I think the quality was a little less. Here's a Jim Brown. What is that? A 6.5.
Yeah.
And they were in the business there for a little bit, and them and GAI, Global Authentic, kind of went by the wayside. I don't know what year that was.
When did you submit? Because you submitted those cards to SCD yourself, or what year would you have submitted those to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm guessing it was probably around, God, I want to say like maybe 98.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. 2008, 2008, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
That was the year I took my personal, my hockey. Well, actually, not just hockey. That was the year I took my rookie card collection to the National in Chicago and submitted everything to PSA for grading. My very first ever submission was 2008. So we got a couple guys watching. Welcome to the show, guys. We got Paul in the house. Ziggy's back. Good evening, Ziggy. You were just showing some cards that were graded by Sports Collectors Digest, and I don't think they're doing the grading. I'm pretty certain they're not doing the grading anymore. There's a Jordan insert. That's pretty sweet. What card is that? I recognize it, don't know the name of it.
Yeah, this is an insert, I believe, from, let's see, it's a Skybox Premium, larger than life.
That's
as with a lot of these, they have unique reverses too that give a kind of different look to it. This one has some nice kind of gold finish. I think I got this tip from Chris of House of Cards at some point. And this one I actually found on eBay. So the SCD label can still be found from time to time, and I don't think people know about it. And so they're like, stay away. But I'm happy to bring it into the collection because it's trustworthy for me, at least.
Oh yeah, and they were a well-respected brand in the hobby. They were like the newspaper of the hobby for decades, right? That was that big, thick magazine, jam-packed. That was the go-to publication. That's how people traded a lot of the time. There was DealerNet, but then there was SCD with all the classifieds. That was a huge tool in the hobby for many years.
Yeah, you remember like they had all the individual singles, and you'd kind of look down, and then like if you liked it, you'd like send your money, right? You just send money to someone, and they would send you the card back, and that would be the deal. And it's like, okay, I hope I get a card back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's fun to talk about because now it's all PSA, BGS, some SGC. We got CGC coming up here in Canada. We got KSA. We've got MNT, and but the forgotten grading companies, you can still find their cards, and in a way, it's a part of the history of the hobby.
Yeah, and you mentioned the PSA submission, in real time at a show, and I have to say, for whatever reason, I was averse to PSA early on when I came back into the collecting world. I was more interested in BVG. I don't know if it was the subgrades. They did the subgrades back then. And maybe the prices were a little lower back then. And what I could gather is BVG, at least early on, they were very stringent on the grading. And so I felt like you could get really good quality cards. And I think you needed to be a member at PSA or something. You need to set something up. And so I was just like, I'm going BVG. So I did tend to grade more with BVG back in the day. And I regret it because now PSA is just, like, I feel like it is, it's the preeminent grading company at this point, and the price is reflected, and the aesthetic has grown on me as well.
Yeah. And back then, when BVG, and I remember when BGS first came out with their grading services, and they came up to the expo in Toronto, they were set up. I went to the booth. I was sort of really interested in what grading was. It was brand new, and I remember they gave me a big stack of the what do you call them, the card savers. And they were branded. I still have that exact package. I never opened it up. I still have it. And they gave it to me because they wanted my business. They wanted me to put cards in and bring them back to them. Some more people have joined us. Stephen Howley's here. Good to see you. He likes your Warriors t-shirt, Joe.
Season back on. Yeah, well, it's got the Oakland mention here, and that's where I grew up and watching the Warriors. So they're in SF now, a little more international. I mean, who knows when we'll actually get to watch them, but the O.co or the Coliseum or Oracle or whatever you want to call it, that's where I grew up watching Warriors games.
Nice. We got Charles here again. Bonjour to you, Charles. I never was comfortable saying bonjour. I don't know how to say that. My mouth just doesn't say bonjour properly, I don't think. Amish Dave, welcome back, buddy. Good to see you. Oscar Dad, I have that Jordan at PSA 9, super low pop, tough grade. Yeah, the larger than life. That's wicked. Now I want a copy of it. Damn it. This episode just cost me some money. Ooh, that's cool.
So we were talking about,
is that the Phil Jackson rookie?
No, this is actually Pistol Pete. And
okay.
It's a BVG. Let me see if I can get it out of the
while you're doing that, while you're getting it out, I'm going to say hi to a few more people here. Steve says, when you have to put the readers on to look at the card, hilarious. Yeah. Charles, old grading companies are a cool topic, like not so like NASA, not the Rockets here in Toronto. Their slabs were screw downs. Oscard, I grade with PSA, BGS, and SGC. I base it which card I think looks best in each slab. And whenever I grade with BGS, I always get subgrades. It's their point of difference. They're like, oh, yeah, that's a great approach, right? And that ties into me with collect what you like. If you think the card looks better in a certain slab, put it in that one. If that's what works, do it. And good evening again to you, Brian. So I'm going to ask you guys out there, what do you want to talk about tonight? Because Joe and we're here to freestyle, chit chat a little bit. That last episode with Mike from the clubhouse, I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought, what a good dude. If I was into group breaking, I would certainly do it with him. I think he's just a stand-up guy. Hope you guys enjoyed that. For those of you that did watch it. We got Sloth in the house, Sloth 55 in the house. Colin, good evening to you. Legion's back. Hello again, Legion. Adam Bailey says, I haven't forgotten about that stand I saw half an hour ago. This one here, I showed this is my card of the day. I've had this for several years now, and it is definitely not for sale, but yeah, it's a wicked card. Thank you for helping me enjoy it again, Adam. Royals, good evening to you. Thank you for the job. Yeah, I kind of got a little out of control in Hobby Hotline this morning. Sometimes I got to temper myself a little bit, but I kind of scolded somebody on Hobby Hotline this morning, so you can go back and watch that if you want to. Sloths, great show at the expo. Yeah, the virtual expo. Oh, he's sorry. That's Charles talking to Sloth. Awesome. I didn't get out of my booth at the virtual expo. I didn't even get out like once. So I missed Colin's booth, but I'll have to check it out next time. Hockey guy. There we go. Not sure what we're going, but there we go. So yeah, guys, if you have any topics you want us to hit on, questions, comments, shoot them out at us. Happy to discuss them. Obviously, we had the Wayne Gretzky's sell the other day. So Joe, why don't you chime in on these? Because you're not a hockey guy predominantly, but you are in the market for a Gretzky rookie. You're looking for a nice eye appeal, lower grade copy, as you've talked to me a little bit about over the past couple of weeks. And that, what do you think? And you are in Santa Cruz, California. I remember that because I love Santa Cruz. The time I loved it there. What does someone in Santa Cruz, California, who focuses on basketball mostly, what do you make of these Gretzky cards? The OPG selling for 1.2 million, 1.29 million, the Topps copy selling for 790 or whatever it was. What do you make of that? Like, does that make you think, God, I got to get into hockey? Or does it make you think, oh, okay, hockey's getting respect, I hope it does well? Or do you not even care? Where do you fall?
It makes perfect sense that the icon, the GOAT of hockey, is, astronomically growing in its appeal. And I think there's more people, cross-pollinating, if you will, from sport to sport. And I went to a few, Oakland Seals games back in the 70s, or, hockey games. But, I don't know hockey that well, but I know Gretzky is the man. And so it makes sense. It's appealing. It's from an era that I associate with, truly like packs and condition sensitive stuff going on. The factory stuff that was great. Last night that, pulling out the whole explanation behind the rugged cut. And I think that's what I actually find appealing. I find it appealing that there's all these interesting corollaries in the card in terms of the tops, the OPC, the centering issue, the blue lines on the reverse. It just seems like there's a lot of lore around the card. And, I have this recollection of Gretzky himself buying the T206 Wagner at one point. So that's also just like, it's hobby mythology. Personally, with my interest, I'm looking at, I want the OPC, even though I heard you say that like Topps is closing fast and there's nothing wrong with the good Topps version. For some reason, for me, I associate OPC with Canada, hockey with Canada. I want the original, so to speak. And then, if I can find just a 1 or a 2 that has some cool features. I learned a little bit on the show that actually, like, I thought I wanted the little print lines on the reverse, but as it turns out, I would much prefer a strong registration on the front part of the card. So I'm gonna be looking for that and something, reasonably centered. Those are my goals right now on that particular card.
And are you okay? So are you okay with that card in a PSA 1 or 2 that's got reasonable centering, good registration, and maybe some creases through it? You're okay? You're okay with that, right?
Totally. I mean, it's all particular to each and every card. If it's the crease right through, Gretzky's nose, that might not look so great. But if it's, the technical grade, notwithstanding, as long as the card presents well, I think, we've talked about that. There's so many ways that something could amount to being a 1. And if you find the one that doesn't trouble you much, then more power to you. On that note, my biggest acquisition in the last month, I got a 61 Flir Wilt Chamberlain, and it was a PSA 1 and eBay, and it got put in a best offer. And the reason it's a PSA 1, it looks like a 4 or 5 just in terms of the corners and edges and whatnot, but there's some paper missing on the front part of the card, actually right around the C. So there is, it's a significant situation, but I just kind of like the fact that the card itself, aside from that, is pretty well preserved.
That's kind of cool. So a little bit of paper loss on the front. You're okay with it because the rest of the card, it's like a card that has a pinhole is almost automatically a PSA 1. It can be like gem mint otherwise, but if it's got a hole through it, that's a big deal, right? But from an eye appeal perspective, hey, and from afar, you can't even see the hole. That's a great way to save a ton of money and still have a really nice card with great eye appeal. So I really respect that approach. I really respect that approach a lot. What do you guys out there think of that? I'd like to hear from some of you on that. Let's see what else we got.
In that spirit, this is a Sam Crawford authentic, because somebody decided to just clip ever so slightly these 4 corners in such a way. But the rest of the card itself, I mean, it pops, and it's quite amazing. It's the 1915 E106 American Carmel version. Pretty cool.
Well, you just reminded me, when I was at the National in 2019, I was at a booth. I took a picture of these 2 cards at the National because they were so, they were like that. They were clipped, but they were so cool. I'm going to show them. This is going to, I don't want to say blow you all away, but this is, if I can find it here, it was the 1951 Bowman. It was the Mickey Mantle rookie and the Willie Mays rookie. And I'm going to find the picture. I'll show it to everybody watching on the screen. And I would have bought these cards. I couldn't, the guy wanted more than I wanted to pay for them. And you'll see what I'm talking about as soon as I find them here as I'm scrolling through my pictures. Found them. So, and for the people listening on podcast, I apologize. I'm going to try to describe what I'm showing here, but This is the 51 Willie Mays and the 51 Mickey Mantle. So this collector, the guy that had these for sale at the show, it was his father or grandfather or whoever he got them from. The story behind these cards was that the person collected the set before or the set after that was this size. The cards were actually this size. So it must have been I don't know, was there a 1950 Bowman set? Maybe it was a 52s. In any event, he basically wanted to cut these cards down to be the same size as the other year's set. So he took a knife or scissors to the Mickey Mantle rookie and the Willie Mays rookie and chopped them off. And then he even went as far as you can see right here, coloring it, like penning in a border to make it look. So it's a mini Mickey Mantle rookie. And then on the same side over here. And if you guys are familiar with this card, you know that these are shorter. They're shorter left to right. He cut them, penciled in the border, and they're slabbed as authentic by SGC. They're slabbed as authentic because they are authentic. They just happen to be trimmed to the nth degree. But I thought to myself, and I love the story behind it. A collector did this, and obviously it'd be worth a lot more if the whole card was still there. But I took a picture because I thought it was super cool for what it was, and I obviously did not buy them. But you just reminded me of that, so I thought I'd pull up that picture. Let's get into this question here. CPT Canuck says, in hockey, Upper Deck is the main product. What is it in baseball, football, basketball? Well, baseball is Tops, and football and basketball is both Panini, and likely the Prism brand would be the flagship brand for football and basketball. Stephen Holy, tell Joe Sholey 2003 says, hi, I'm wondering what you would each like to see happen if you could change one thing about the hobby. I just asked the question of the last guest. I mean, yeah, I would make it easier to train graders. I'd find a way to train graders quicker so that we could get cards graded faster. And I would just find a way to add more positivity to the hobby. But, I recognize that we need critics and we need devil's advocates to keep people on their toes. So I don't know, Joe, what do you want to say to that?
I would just say that, I'm someone that came into the whole social media part of the hobby late. And so I'm quite stoked that there is such a community, and it would be great to, connect in real time and have a little more proximity. So you were talking about, the national and just future moments, looking forward to getting to know. Hi, Sholey. We carry on. He's an amazing collector. Jay Crowder is one of his main collecting interests. So in any case, just proximity to people and being able to connect in person. I would look forward to that.
Yeah, get rid of COVID and let us all get to card shows together, right? For sure. Hockey Guy says, I miss 90s inserts with cool stuff on the back as well as the front. One of the last sets in hockey I remember with it is the 98-99 Finest No Protectors with the chrome backs. Yeah, those were the days when you get 2 or 3 different pictures of the same player on the same card. Now they'll put a picture on the front and they'll put the same picture on the back, but maybe do it in black and white or crop it or add shadows or something like that. So I think it just comes down to budget constraints, really. Charles says, what was the biggest hobby mystery that ever happened? Oh boy, Charles, great question. I mean, I don't know. I know that there's some things that I just can't think of what they were, like how the C55s were printed, and then Bobby Burrell found the printing stone that was used somehow and brought it to the expo. That was a kind of a revolutionary moment. Finding out why certain cards are short printed versus double printed. You never really knew for sure until someone finally found an uncut sheet. I've seen that happen before. I'm not sure. Great question. Love to hear anyone else's thoughts on that from below. What is Royals? Royal says, been buying some hockey for a couple of years. Your interview with Joe Daly was great. Any suggestions on a hockey history book, website, etc.? Yeah, I mean, so Bobby Burrell, who was on with me last night, he's written 2 books called Vintage Hockey Collector. The problem was he self-published and they're sold out. So you can only find like secondhand copies on eBay or Amazon like $100 each because they're collectible. But he does have a website coming out that's going to have a lot of that information. So otherwise, I would recommend search Amazon. There's probably some others that I'm just not thinking of. And I know there are other books in the hobby. I have my camera is sitting right now on on a book called Gretzky Cards, written by Dr. Jeffrey Griffith, which chronicles all of Gretzky's cards from 1978. I'm looking at the spine of it right now through 2008. There are books out there. Check Amazon, probably your best bet. Depends if you collect modern or vintage. Yes, for sure it does, depending on what is the main set each year. Thanks, Oscar Dad, for throwing that feedback out there. Scott Fiscus, welcome, says, all my 11-year-old collects his hockey cards. He loves them, and he is happy they're available in retail. Personally, I wonder why hardly anyone grades modern hockey. Well, you know what? I think if you look at the, it's all relative, and I think there are hockey is getting graded. One of the biggest reasons why we may not be seeing a lot of hockey getting graded right now is because a lot of the hockey cards are in Canada. And the grading companies, the big grading companies, are in the U.S. And that's probably and there's the backlogs. People are scared of throwing their cards in with the rest of the backlogs. But there's plenty of graded hockey cards out there, Scott. Check your local eBay and you'll see. But I'm actually curious where your perspective of that comes from. Like where are you seeing where are you not seeing hockey cards being graded? I guess would be my question, because I'm looking for them and looking at them all the time, so I don't share that perspective. But I'm curious as to yours, because I'm certain it's valid as well. Jay says, last 4 days have been breaking records for the sports cards world. Sure has been. I mean, what I love to see, Joe, was that there were more people tracking the Wayne Gretzky rookies than the Michael Jordan PMG Green. I thought that was a little tidbit of information from this past week that was kind of like, wow, maybe hockey cards are gaining, if that many people are watching them, and more than that, than the most important Michael Jordan card of all time, arguably. I know his rookie is iconic, but that PMG Green is that's everyone's grail for the most part. That was really impressive to me.
If I can slip this question in, what do you see in sort of the, say, next 3 to 5 years on that Gretzky issue? Do you kind of see the sort of typical, we're going to go up, we're going to plateau a little bit, maybe even come a little down and come up, or what sort of patterns or trajectory do you see?
Well, I think these sales are going to motivate people to list their cards, and so I think some people are going to think it's a time to get out. Right or wrong, I think some people are going to think that. And so I think we're going to see maybe more hit the market. I could be way off. I could be way wrong. It could be the opposite. People might decide to keep them. But if you see more hitting the market, the supply is going to come up. Well, that's just, it comes down to basic economics at that point. Supply comes up. More people will have the card that they want. So you're going to have fewer bidders. The pricing might come down. But I don't think it's going to come down to the point where people are panicking. I think it's just going to be the typical ebb and flow of the values of cards. And then it'll creep back up again. It's always gone like this. It just up, down, but it always trends upwards. That's been, my perspective of the hobby, and based on actually what's going on for many, many years. So I think it'll always trend upwards. The hobby, these cards can survive a pandemic and still thrive. So what does it take for the hobby to not thrive anymore? I don't know. This might be just part of culture now. I don't know.
That's really interesting. And I think about the particular, time period that card is in relation to 79. You've got the Bird Magic rookie card there. You've got the Cal Ripken traded rookie card. It's sort of like an interesting moment with card creation. And I'm not deep into the pop count, so I'm not really sure what's there. But if people are getting rid of that card right now, I'd think twice about that. I think that card's going to steadily march personally, but what do I know?
Well, that's just it. At the beginning of the pandemic, I said, time to sell, because I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of cardboard that I'm going to have to burn to stay warm, sort of thing, or to cook my bacon, right? To boil my eggs. But obviously the opposite happened. So I got to qualify everything I say with whenever I predict something, it goes the other direction. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm bullish still. I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling anything from my personal collection that is valuable right now. I'm keeping it because I believe in the hobby. I'm bullish on it still. So let's see. What do we got? Charles says a bunch to Scott if he needs any help. Contact. There you go. There's a contact Charles for some help. I remember Jeremy had a raw Gretzky at the expo I might need for my binder card. We can talk, Charles. We can talk. Jay says Gretzky, MJ, rookie card PSA 10, Jackie Robinson PSA 8, Pokemon SGC 10. So I think I don't remember what that is in response to, but those are all very, very important. Oh, I see what you're saying. You want your Gretzky and MJ in a PSA holder. I don't know what you're saying, Jay, but I like the selection of cards you're putting out there. That's for sure. Hockey guy. I'm looking at a beater Bossy Peachy rookie for super cheap. Corner wear, crease, whole 9 yards. There you go. Why not, right? If it's you don't always have to have the best of the best out there. There are grade points for everybody. Anybody can buy, and even if you can afford a 9, but you want a 1 or a 2, go for it. No one's going to judge you. I'm certainly not. Legion says an authentic card is still the card, be it trimmed or a 1. Maybe that's your entry point. Yep, there you go. I bet those are clipped to get them out of an album. Oh, the card you had could be. Lynchpins insert is a card full of pinholes cut into the card. Yeah, so are the platinum portraits, but that's deliberate, so it doesn't count against the card. Royal says, I love the fact you're willing to get lower grade cards. Lots of vintage cards at grade low look like they deserve a much higher grade. The other thing is that when you have a low grade vintage card, that card has a history. It's got a story. It was like some kid enjoyed it, and then another kid enjoyed it, and then a teenager enjoyed it. You know, that's the cool thing about cards that are in, like, you know, PSA 1 to PSA 5s. They've actually had a life. They've got life experience. They're ragged, you know. I think that's cool. It's not like you'll ever learn their story because that information is dead, but you know, it's just not discoverable, but it's still kind of cool to speculate on it.
And when I buy a card like that, I always try and ask the seller, do you know anything about this card? Do you know the history of this card? And, you know, in some instances, they'll tell you, like, oh yeah, this was from my family's collection or my uncle, in New Jersey. Like, you get some interesting information if you ask questions.
Yeah, for sure. Oscar Dad, those cards would set records for qualifiers if graded by PSA. Yeah, probably you're talking about the Mantle and the Maze, no doubt about it. Steven, yes, get rid of COVID so we can all connect again. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt at all. And you are you don't have to thank me for taking the time to answer, but you're welcome. Paul Cashman, thing I change about the hobby, mandatory photography courses for eBay sellers. Too many fuzzy Sasquatch sighting photo. Yeah, the nice thing is that, you know, I wish those sellers you're talking about, Paul, would go onto YouTube and search how to take pictures of cards for eBay, because there are videos on there on how to do it. So I wish that we got to get that out there. Did Upper Deck print Gretzky Griffey sheets after the initial print run? I heard many times with no evidence to back up the claim. I've heard the same thing, but no evidence one way or the other. Hockey guy, one thing I changed about the hobby is centralizing the hobby more online. It's far too fragmented now. That's going to be tough to do, though. Fragmented means that so many people are starting businesses and Facebook groups and niches within the niches. And yeah, how do you do that, though? How do you centralize it more? I don't see that. eBay is this most centralized entity we have, and I think it's going to go in the opposite direction. I can see there being some consolidation, some business combinations between some acquisitions, like although PSA wasn't an acquisition by another hobby company, it was an acquisition by an investment group, happened to be collectors, but I don't see it going in that direction. I see it going the other direction, more fractional ownership companies, more online trading marketplaces, more grading companies. I see it happening the opposite, but hey, it's something you can definitely hope to change, wish would change. When Ozdad would change it to one thing I would change is to substantially increase grading prices to try and stop all the base cards from being graded, which is the main reason for backlog. Interesting take, Oz. Interesting take. I think a lot of people would be like, don't increase the prices, but I understand your motivation for it. Charles said, I would make it more kid-friendly, almost like a community charity for some quality packs for kids. One of my goals to make that happen. Well, do not give up on your goal, Charles. You're the perfect person to lead that charge, and I will support you in it. Scott Fiskus, for instance, up-and-coming players, young guns, are super low in price and pretty sparsely graded. I see what you're saying. The top guys you can find graded more so. There's a pack out there. There's a freshly unopened pack of Series 1. Yeah, Scott, I mean, now I hear what you're saying, and makes sense to me. I think, young guns, you get 75 of them a year,
75, wow.
Or so, I think. I might be, maybe it's 50 in Series 1, 50 in Series 2. I'm not exactly sure of the count, but I know it's a big number.
I've been trying to work on my hockey prospects, like just flying blind here, but my local Target, hard to find basketball or football, but a lot of hockey for whatever reason. And so I've been kind of ripping a little bit and kind of getting a little familiarity with players that I'm assuming haven't even, skated on NHL ice yet.
Well, yeah, I think there are some carryovers in those packs, possible carryovers who did skate toward after the rookie card cutoff last year, but any of the draft picks from this year certainly haven't skated yet in an NHL game. So, but the thing is that the young guns, I think it's 50 in Series 1 and 50 in Series 2, and only a handful are going to be important in the hobby. So out of 50, maybe five to 10 will be important, and maybe that's why we don't see so many of them being graded, because they're just not worth it. Brian says, in an 18-19 Prism NBA Blaster just sold for $605 with 13 bids. Wow. So that's the Luka chase, I believe. Steven says, great answers, everyone. I agree more. Kid-friendly would be best. For grading, I would do a significant price gap, a cheap, non-guaranteed option, hoping to grab collectors who just want to slab PC. Yeah. That some model or some structure around that would be nice. I agree. I like that idea. Goes on to say that then higher price levels, try to separate the collectors from the sellers. Sure. Reckless, welcome, says, when I think about how much I've spent on high-end modern cards that I'm not so attached to now, when I could and should have been buying graded vintage and graded key rookie cards, which is what I want now. Yeah. We all, I don't know when you were doing that, Reckless, but I think a lot of people come into the hobby, and I'm not saying this is you, Reckless, I have a feeling you've been around a bit longer, but people come into the hobby, you got to pay for that education, pay for that experience, and kind of work your way towards your ultimate sort of comfort zone. And as I was saying last night in after hours, that my personal collection, it's evolving over time. Something that's in my personal collection right now, in a year or 2 years, I may not be as attached to it. I'm willing to take it out of my personal collection, move it into my inventory, sell it, take that money, put something else into my personal collection. To me, my personal collection, I allow it to be fluid, and I allow it to evolve over time. Name says, Jeremy and Joe, sorry I'm late to the party. Hope you're doing good, Joe. I was just wondering about you the other day. That's well, you guys must be friends. Awesome. I know you guys are my Instagram friends, which is really cool. 49 plus a checklist in each series. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Legion. Pretty much every rookie now gets a Young Guns. There are tons every year, and that's why only a small percentage are really at the end of the day will people even know who they are, and many of them may get a cup of coffee in NHL, and that'll be it, sort of thing.
Can I slip a question here? What year is the Ovechkin Young Gun?
That's 0506.
0506.
506. Same as the Crosby.
And are Young Guns just one flat card? There's no parallels. It's just the Young Gun.
No, there are parallels. There's two parallels. Yeah, there's two. There's actually more than two parallels. There's the Young Guns exclusives, which is out of 100, and then there's the Young Guns high gloss, which is out of 10. And then some years Upper Deck has done what's known as the Midnight card, which is usually distributed at card shows and that, but they're pretty cool still. They're out of 25. And then there's also the acetate version, the clear cut version. There's a few others, but the three main ones are the Young Gun, the exclusives, and the high gloss.
Are they regional or country specific, like Canada version, or they're pan hockey?
Yeah, just the Midnight. I think you have to be at the right place to get one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You get a show to get it, or you got to find it later on eBay. Yeah, for sure. Charles says, I have a small PC for players who never actually played a game who have a Young Gun, right? That's it. That's a neat checklist, right? Guys like Zach Fucali, Chet Picard. Yeah. Dave Kaplan, welcome to the show, says, for every Sidney Crosby, there's 100 Alexander Daigs. So Alexander Daig was the first overall draft pick in like 1993 or something like that, or 92 or 91, whatever year it was. And he just bombed. I think he had a first good couple months, and then he was as hyped up as Connor McDavid, as hyped up as Alexis Lafreniere and all that. By the way, I was corrected by a French-speaking Instagram contact or Facebook just today, I believe, sent me a message saying, in French, we don't pronounce the S. I've been saying Alexis Lafreniere. I'm now going to change it and say it's Alexis Lafreniere, and I didn't know that. So nice to know, and I was happy to receive that correction.
But the Lafreniere was correct, right?
Yeah, Lafreniere. I think it's Lafreniere. It might be Lafreniere. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to say Alexis Lafreniere. Lafreniere. I don't know. Someone is the R pronounced at the end or not? I'm not sure. Hockey Guy surprised there isn't a company that just slabs cards. Slabs it and doesn't grade it. Is that what you're talking about? Wouldn't those be called one touches? I'm just kidding. I'm not sure. But interesting comment. Charles says, yeah, and Patrick Stephans, sure, another first overall draft pick that was a bust. Just by a hydraulic press and get slabbing, sure. There are people that collect Alexander Daigs, Patrick Stephans, Milan Crafts of the world. A lot of their rarer stuff got snapped up by speculators and haven't seen the light of day since. Yeah, because those guys are just so depressed that they put money into those guys that didn't turn into anything. The Ovechkin, Crosby, Ultimate Rookie cards have been flying. Yeah, because those are numbered, I think, to 299 or 399 that year. And they're absolutely beautiful cards. Beautiful cards. Hey, look who's in the house. C. Barry is here. Barry, how are you, buddy? It says Pavel Francouz has a young gun this year, but has a rookie card in 2018-19. Interesting. So is Compendium considered an XRC for him then? And Barry would know because he works at ComC and they got a huge database of cards. Interesting comment though, Barry. I wonder what's the bottom line on the Francouz rookie card then. Hockey Guy Ovechkin is 0506 Series 2. That's true. Young Guns in 0506 has 3 parallels. There are the Fall Expos, which is Series 1, I believe, and the red limited to 10. Okay, yeah, so they mix it up a bit. Hey, we got Australia in the house. Good evening, Global Sports Card Investor. Good to see you. Oscar says, so is the base Young Guns considered the true rookie? Yes, it is. The base Young Gun is really the only true rookie, although I consider the parallels of rookie cards, to me, they're just as good as a rookie card. That's just me, though. I'm not saying they have the RC designation, but to me, they're as good as, if not better, because they're rarer. Scott, what is your take on O-Pee-Chee Platinum and why is it not really mainstream when Platinum cards are popular in the other 3 main sports? My son loves it. Beautiful card. Yeah, I love it. I collect a ton of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. I think it's beautiful. The regular O-Pee-Chee set does not interest me in the least, but the Platinum does because they're just so much nicer. So yeah, why not? I don't know, but I think we're seeing it catch up a little bit over the past 5 or 6 months because people are noticing just how cool the parallels are. As for the base Platinum rookie cards, there's just a lot of them out there. You can go on ComC, look up your player, and there's 50 or 60 of them available. So, it doesn't make them that intriguing when you can just get one anytime you want at such a cheap price. But the same thing can be said about a Gretzky rookie. You can go on eBay and find hundreds of them anytime you want. They're more expensive, and very popular.
What are your aesthetics on? Chris was talking on the crossover last night about how much he appreciates, serial numbers, just knowing exactly how many are out there. Do you have any sensibilities with regards to hockey rookie cards? It sounds like there are a few, like the red of 10. That's certainly must be a sought after card. Do you have any sensibilities about sort of the Poirot over here versus like the parallel that might be numbered of 25 or something along those lines?
Well, what do you mean? Like what do I prefer or my taste or what?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously some issues just have whatever the rookie card is. I mean, the Gretzky, but yeah, if Ovechkin has, multiples, are there serial numbered ones that are going to ultimately sort of separate from the pack, so to speak?
Yeah. So what you make me think about is like comparing. You can get the young gun of any player going back to say 2005. It goes back before. Let's start with Crosby, Ovechkin. You can buy their young gun, and you're going to pay good money for it. So let's take for example Sidney Crosby. His young gun in a PSA 10, again, just something I follow, I can speak to. It's around say $2,000 right now.
Okay. But
you can go get his trilogy card or his artifacts card. So these are numbered to $999 or $799 or $700, whatever. $750, I think, is the artifacts. Or you can get other cards that have higher, maybe 1,000 or 500 or 100 sort of thing. And now how many are out there. Whereas the young guns, there's thousands and thousands. We don't know how many there are. Even though the young gun still sells for more than those other cards, I think there's value in these cards from brands that don't have the brand equity that Upper Deck Series 1 does, but they're still cool cards. They're still rookie cards and they're numbered, and you know how many there are. I think that's where there's some opportunity in hockey. And so I've been looking at some of these cards. Flir Ultra is a good example from like the Flir products, I should say, from 2013, 14, 15, 16. Those cards are numbered. Usually the Flir Ultra rookie, the Austin Matthews from 16, 17 is numbered to, I believe, $5.99 or $6.99. And it sells for a fraction of what his Young Gun sells for. And there's 25 to 1,000 to 100,000 of them out there. Who knows where in between? But, so yeah, I think that's where there's some potential in hockey, is to go for some of these currently lessly desired brands. But when you go out into the future, I think people are going to be like, well, wait a second, that's where there's value, because there's so few of them made. So hope that answers the question. If anyone wants to poke any holes in what I just said, please do, because I was kind of on the fly there. Oscar, what was the first year of Young Guns? 1990-91. The very first year Upper Deck did hockey, there are Young Guns in that set. And the very first year, wow. Sergei Fedorov was the big card that year. It was an extremely popular card. So that, to me, that's the original origin of Young Guns, is the Sergei Fedorov, and it's a beautiful card, beautiful looking card. Behind the Tanks, 1961 Topps, Reno Rabaza was the original Young Guns bomb. 0 NHL games, and he still made an appearance in a 66 card set. Oh, hilarious, hilarious. Comsey Barry says, Ovechkin Young Guns were selling for $50 forever before he won the cup. I remember you could buy a PSA 10 for $80, like 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's $2,000.
Wow.
Global Sport says, absolutely awesome, Oscar Dad. Beautiful weather in Melbourne. Just spent the day with my kiddos at the beach. Yeah, you guys are my cousin just fled Canada to go to Melbourne because you guys have no community spread. Australia did it right. They just said we're locking down and we are going to eliminate community transmission. And you guys did very well. So kudos to Australia. Hockey guy, O-Pee-Chee Platinum doesn't have the pedigree in hockey. It's new. Give it time. Well, it's newish. It's newish, right? I mean, it's been around. It came out 15 at the earliest. So yeah, 5 years. But I think it's a great set, and those parallels, the gold size mix, the emerald surges, the golden treasures, the blue pixels. I mean, there's some really cool looking cards in there. And I'm only mentioning the numbered ones. There's some unnumbered ones as well. Yeah, give it time, though. I certainly agree with that. That's Chris, right? Yeah, I think that's Chris. I certainly agree. Give it time. Name says the situation with Francouz also happened with Alfie Michaud back in the day. Yeah, so it's not the first time we've seen these kind of rookie pre-RCs coming out. This kind of maybe getting ignored altogether. Dave says, here's a question I don't really know the answer to. Is a canvas Young Guns better, rarer, more desirable than the base? Great question, Dave. Let's address that, because that's actually, I should have mentioned it earlier when you asked me, like, what other Young Guns are there? So, or parallel. So the thing about the canvas is that it's not a parallel. It's a set within a set, right? You get like one canvas card per pack or something like that. And it's a different photograph. It's a totally different looking card. And I don't even think it's in the same numbering. I think it's got like, it's numbered C1, C2, that kind of thing. So the canvas Young Guns, it's like a parallel set almost, but it's not even, that doesn't make sense. It's a set within a set. And so to answer your question specifically, Dave, is it better? I don't think so. Is it rarer? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think it might be. Is it more desirable? I don't think so. The canvas card here, there's one thing that's really cool about them and one thing that I don't love about them. The cool thing is that the photography is far superior. The image selection, they curate the images on that set very specifically and deliberately. They're looking for pictures that aren't your action on the ice pictures. That's what they use in the regular set. Canvas cards are meant to be unique photos. So if you go look at ComC at all the canvas cards, you're gonna be like, wow, those are some neat pictures. But you're not going to see a lot of action shots on the ice in the set. The thing I don't like about them is that they use the canvas type of card stock. So
sure,
it kind of makes it dull in a way. I don't love it. I'd almost like to see it, the canvas stock, but then put a gloss on it to brighten it up a bit. That's what I'd like to see. I don't love them at all. I don't think I own a single. Oh, I have a Mark Scheifele in my collection. That's it. Doesn't appeal to me though, personally. I do like the regular Young Guns more.
What's interesting about this year's Upper Deck Series 1, I've pulled a few canvas, and they are, the texture, you notice it kind of like, oh yeah, that's different. But it seems like even the base cards are ever so slightly beveled around the on the corners. Like they're not as, and I don't know if
that's squared off, right?
Yeah, is that specific just to this year? Or have they been doing
that? That was a problem with their third-party printing vendor that happened, where they brought in some new equipment or something, and that wasn't expected, and it was a surprise to Upper Deck, just like it was a surprise to everybody. And I've talked to Upper Deck about it, and it's not really my place to say anything, but let's just say that they're aware, and I think that I have a feeling that they're going to try and make good on it. So I don't think if you have one, I think you should just hold on to it, I would say. And
well, I'm kind of talking about almost all the cards. I mean, it's fairly ubiquitous, and I'm curious too, like what's that going to mean for grading if the norm has a little. When you say make good on it, do you mean they're going to reissue, or Series 2 is going to get a little more dialed in, or who knows?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm just saying that when it comes to the cards of value in there, like the cards that you would grade, like the Alexis Lafreniere rookie card, I wouldn't send mine in for grading right now. If they had those rounded corners, I would wait. That's what I would do. And but you know what? It's funny. I've looked at one under a loop, and it's a very beautiful cut, even though it's rounded. It's a very beautiful cut, and
yeah. Well, that's why I thought it might be intentional, like they're doing something aesthetics. But you're saying it was a little bit of a.
It was an issue with the equipment. It was an equipment issue. That's all it was. And by time the production was done and they saw it, it's like, well, okay, do we have to do this all over again? What, or was it already packed out? I'm not sure if it got out first or what, but in any event, yeah, I wouldn't grade those cards right now. I just sit on them for a while. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's going to be hard to see, Joe, but
somebody named Joel Kivaranta is my pull, my young gun tonight.
Well, that guy had 4 goals in one of the games in these past playoffs. So yeah, he was a hero this year. Keep that card. That could be good. That could be good. Oh, you just opened the pack? Is that what you did?
I got trigger finger there talking about all this.
I'm going to go through some more of the comments here. Legion said, I've heard people on EPAC call O-Pee-Chee Platinum home of the $2 auto. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much think that's the truth on the secondary market. And for me, I do collect O-Pee-Chee Platinum, but I do not collect any autograph cards from that set. I do not think the autographs look good on those cards. I like non-autographs out of that product personally. Barry says, first year of Young Guns was 90-91. They weren't short printed. True that. Charles says the original goalie bust was Terry Richardson. Scott says, thanks, awesome show. Fun to hear some hockey talk. Thanks for joining, Scott. Great to have you. Goes on, Ovechkin's victory rookie insert is nice under belt. Yeah, I agree. It is. I think so too. You just bought 2 PSA 9s. Goodbyes. Whatever happened to Flir? Upper Deck owns the Flir brand, and they're hesitant to bring it back because they believe that distributors and hobby shops don't like it, because when they had Flir Showcase products, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they sat for a long time. And I have been basically lobbying with them saying, bring Flir back. Now is the time. The hobby's a different place 5 years ago than it is right now. And if you bring it back, I guarantee you it will be successful. I mean, I'm not going to put my money where my mouth is, but I'm willing to guarantee it verbally. And I think the fact that they are coming out with Skybox Metal Universe, which is really, they could have said Flir or Skybox interchangeably, but they chose Skybox. I'm okay with that. I wanted them to use Flir, but they went with Skybox. And I think they'll bring Flir back soon, because they're going to recognize just how well it will sell. Jump in, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say, as a basketball collector, the Molten has so much, intrigue, and it's going to draw me in, whatever they're putting out. And I don't know these players so well. I'm gaining some, familiarity, but the style of that card, and that kind of 90s insert reprise, I think it's gonna do some nice things. And is that coming out in hobby, retail? What's the? I
think it's going to be hobby. I don't know if they're going to do retail too. I don't think they'll do retail. I think it's going to be hobby. and it's going to come out in April. I've got pre-orders in I got a pre-order in with one guy for a case. He promised me. I got pre-order in with another guy for 5 cases. I said, I'll take as much. I don't buy cases. This is the only product that I'm going to put. I'll take as many cases of this stuff as I can because I love it. I'm going to keep some. I'm going to crack some. I'm going to collect it. I'm going to buy singles. It's going to be very expensive. This product's going to be very, very expensive for me, but I'm super pumped about it.
Has there been any early reveal? Like, have they given you sneak peeks?
Yeah.
What it's going to look like?
Yeah, there's if you go to Universal Distribution with one of the Canadian distributors, they have a solicitation piece out on it with pictures of what the platinum portraits are going to look like, what the precious metal gems are going to look like. Oh man, this product is going to be killer. I cannot wait. Paul says, David, the canvas would be rarer than the base. How much rarer is a good question. There you go. Thank you, Paul. Oscar Dad says, I try to buy serial numbered of sets where there aren't parallels of the same cards. Yeah, great approach. Bure in the high numbers was Bure. See, I forgot if so Pavel Bure was like one of the biggest players of the early 90s. He was known as the Russian Rocket. And I forgot if his card was the Young Gun or not. I knew it was in the high numbers set. And actually, I've got a box of the product. I'll pull it down and show you guys. This is the first ever hockey product, but this is the one that actually, it says right here, it's got the high series in it. But what that means is the low series was 400 cards. The high series was another 150 cards. So total of 550. And there were great rookies in both sets. Tons of Hall of Famers in this box, like probably 40 of them, say type of thing. Rookies of 30, let's say, Hall of Famers in this box. The high numbers included the low numbers as well, so you can get all of it. But this is, for a box, you could probably find one of these on eBay for 20 or 30 bucks, maybe less. And it's really a revolutionary product. It's a landmark product, and there's amazing cards in there. But you can get the Sergei Fedorov in here, the Pavel Bure, among many more. Anyway, thanks to Dave for clarifying that the Bure was a Young Gun as well. I just didn't remember. I haven't looked at one in a while. Oscar says, we are still following all the protocols, not being complacent at all. Well, and that's why you guys are successful. That's why you guys are leading the world in the COVID battle, and good on you. There we go. Joe's protecting himself from himself tonight. For Young Guns canvas. Oh, sorry. Costa, welcome, says easier to get BGS or PSA 10 in a canvas is grade really well. That I'm familiar with. He says for Young Guns canvas over the regular Young Gun. Yeah, Colin says one canvas per box. One canvas card per box altogether, or one Young Gun canvas per box, Colin? I thought you get like 5 or 6 in a box. I might be wrong. Oscar says PSA 10 Costa, therefore BGS 10 is worth more most of the time. That is true. Chris says canvas isn't a parallel. They don't do the full set. Yeah, agree. All right, I'm familiar with that. Colin says 2021 serious issues like I want my money back damage. It's not damage though. That's the thing. It's not damage. It was cut that way. If you look at the cuts, they're very sharp. They're very sharp cuts on those slightly rounded corners. Which is, it's unfortunate. I know that Upper Deck hates it as much as everybody else does.
I know we can't see it, but this good guy's good, right, Connor?
Yeah, it's a funny card. I saw someone make a comment like, "Oh, he should look depressed in that card. He must have come off a loss right there. He's head down. Doesn't look like he's happy." But I think it's a cool picture still. Edge damage also. Yeah, I hear you, Colin. No good. Legion says, nice to see a fellow Cali collector. Go Sharks. There you go. Charles says there's a lot of high-numbered cards, the best being the 72, 73 WHA set. Absolute beauties. That's funny, Charles, because I do not like the looks of the 72, 73 set. That's my least favorite set, but that's what makes the hobby awesome. We all like different things. Barry says it's awesome to hear about a product being hyped without using the lure of the rookies. I have boxes of 12, 13 Flir Retro that's become in vogue. You have boxes of that, Barry? That's awesome. I see some people are selling them on eBay right now for like $2,000, which I think is too much, but what a great product.
I love that.
Confirms one young gun canvas per box of Upper Deck. Jay says, what do you think the next $1 million hockey card is? Yeah, Bobby Orr rookie or Gordie Howe rookie, like a PSA 9 or 10. If there happens to be a 10, Bobby Orr rookie. I know there's no PSA 10, but there's a PSA 9. that could easily be it. Or it could be one of these like one-of-one shield autos of Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin from their rookie years. Those could also be the ones that get there too. Costa says, in my box, some of the base were missing the glossy. It's too bad. Ding corners, gouged edges, I know damage. Yeah, that sounds like your box got smacked though. It doesn't sound like that's the way it came out of the printing press though. Oscar says, as a nearly 40-year-old basketball collector, I too have pre-ordered Metal Hockey, and I'm only a newbie hockey collector thanks to Jeremy. Yeah, I'm driving up the cost on my own on the product I want to buy. I love it. I'm so happy to have you doing it. That's a beautiful card there, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, just in the metal spirit, and we all kind of went into our collections when the Last Dance came on and COVID coincided with it. But yeah, I'm also a huge fan of the retro. I mean, I wasn't collecting actively in 12, 13, and then coming back into it and then looking back and like, what are these cards? Like there's these, make-believe cards of, Jordan in this or Bird in that. And it's like, I got a PMG Bird, red, precious metals. And it's, the card never existed. He's in his Indiana uniform, but it's still pretty cool. And the aesthetics, obviously it's not, the high end real stuff, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, man, those cards were awesome. And the story behind it, which the designers, from Arena Design, who designed those cards back in the day, that was right after Skybox or Flir was acquired by Skybox. I forget the exact details, the history. Someone out there will know. But whoever had the Marvel brand acquired the sports card brand, and then they started saying, well, hey, let's start leveraging the designers from the comic book department and get them to help us design cards. And they got these images, and then they put the players on top of them, and now we have the most legendary basketball set of all time, pretty much. So kind of cool. Oscar Dad says, more excited for Metal Hockey than upcoming basketball releases. Man, this is going to be a popular product, no doubt. So Charles, this is funny because you said lots of old sets have horrible designs like 73, 74 and 75, 76. I love the 75, 76. It's simple. It's got the name of the team across the top in nice big bold letters. It's got the puck in the bottom. I think it's a beautiful set in its simplicity. And the 73, 74, that set has to grow on you because it's got these horrible red or green borders with like this Ripley effect. But the key cards are pretty key, being a Billy Smith rookie, a Larry Robinson rookie, Bill Barber's in there. Some nice cards in there. Some good player rookies, I should say. I like it, Charles, though. You love the 72s. I like the 73s and the 75s. Base PMG is fire. It's not called base PMG though, right? It's basically just the base metal universe card. PMG is the name of the parallel, the very valuable parallel, but the base card is not known as PMG. It's just known as Metal Universe.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what PSA has it on.
Yeah.
As well on the backside.
Just to get technical on you, Oscar, but I think what you're saying is the base of the PMG is fire, and I certainly agree with that. I think it's the best looking base card in any basketball product. I'm 100%. It's the coolest base card ever, really. Okay, Behind the Tanks is my prediction for $1 Million Hockey card would be a 12-13 C57 George Vezina #1 if it ever surfaces in a PSA 8 or better. $1 million. You think there's enough people that are collecting the C57 set when it's not his rookie card even? I don't know, man. I don't think I agree with that. I mean, although maybe there's enough guys out there that are, that have big money that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that want the best of that card. Yeah, maybe you're right. If it surfaces, and I don't think there's one. Is there one in the pop report even? You could be right. There could be a handful of cards that are candidates for the next $1 Million Hockey card. It just who gets to market first is really where that will come into play. Dave Schumann says, did you guys see Giannis Prism 1/1 at $850K at auction now? Oh my gosh. I saw it at, I think the last I saw it was like $250 or $300. I didn't realize it got up to $850. Wow. Colin Murray, one PSA 9, how no 10s, 34 8s. Yeah, I wonder what that 9 could easily be. That 9's $1 million card. Has to be $1 million card. Who owns it, Colin? Do you know who owns that copy? What a card. Colin's favorite is 72-73. That's like my least favorite of all. I said that last night too. That's what I love about it. We all like different things. Scott Fiskus, I think some of the top young guns are short printed. At least that's what a local told me. Elias Pettersson as an example. I do not believe that to be the case at all. I do not believe that to be the case. Local dealer. Yeah, I mean, it's hearsay, right? But I don't think that's the case. Yeah, not true. That's a nice looking card.
Yeah, this is one of those. So I ran and grabbed a retro. I think this is 2013-14 Flir Retro Metal Universe Maximum Metal Jordan. So, you know, a card that never existed in an issue that existed.
It's new. It's new and retro, right?
Right. And it's got his North Carolina uniform on. And of course, you know, the anytime you get the die cut thing going and, you know, you get it slabbed, it's pretty cool.
Charles says Vezina doesn't have the same market as a Gretzky, less buyers looking for it. That's my concern about that card, but there might be those 4 or 5 guys that are doing the C57. They're competing on the set registry, and that is the most condition sensitive of the first, the 3 tobacco era sets in hockey. And that Vezina, I mean, it's probably the ugliest Vezina card out there because it's so dark, but it's very important. It's very, even, you know, PSA 1 is thousands of dollars. But yeah, that's my concern with it too. But again, if it beats some other big cards to market, and those 3 or 4 or 5 guys that are competing are going to go toe to toe, and they got the means, that could easily hit $1 million. I don't see it happening, but it could. Scott says, my son and I opened tons of 2018 Upper Deck and could not pull a Pettersson, but Walmart the other day had a clearance, and we finally pulled one. Good, I'm happy. Good for your son. That's awesome. I'm a big fan of 1990-91 Topps Hockey. They're worth diddly squat, though. Yeah, was that the year that they did the gold parallel, the gold along the bottom, or was that 91-92, where they did the one per pack gold etching on the nameplate part of it? Colin Murray says 72-73, biggest break value of any set. Really? So why is that? Because there's just so many Hall of Famers calling in it? Is that kind of why? And whose last cards are in there, if any? Or is it because it's such a tough set in good condition? Why is that, Colin? I'm really curious. Sorry, I hit that one by mistake. Costa, I wish I could go back to 13-14. Oh, of course we do, Costa. Of course we do. 95-96 select hockey parallels are underrated, in my opinion. I can't picture it, but I'm sure you're not wrong. Charles. Chris says that's the case for a lot of vintage hockey. Is there a market to drive the value? Yeah, we talked about that a bit last night. Oscar, there was a maximum metal in 98, Joe, same design, just MJ and Bulls jersey instead of the UNC jersey. Okay.
Thank you. I mean, so that's the difference, right? Retro kind of gets a little imaginative and does something, and yeah, the Bulls jersey one is quite a pretty penny.
Yeah. Okay, the gold with 91, 92 was the gold, I believe, says Chris. Paul says, I thought it was 92, 93. 90, 91 was the one with the rounded name bars. Okay. 341 cards in the set, says Colin. In the 72. Oh, is that why? Because it's a bigger set than other years? They did members only in 1990, 91. Members only. Wasn't that wasn't that a stadium club thing? Might have been 92, 93 with the gold. 92, 93 is the gold. There we go. We got consensus finally. Right on, guys. All right. Oh, I was going to say at the end of the comments, but we had a couple more just popped up. WHA cards and high numbers are $5 to $10. So, okay. So you're talking about breaking up a set, selling them all the singles, sort of one off. And if there's enough guys still doing that 72, 73 set, then hey, it makes sense to me.
So for the hockey initiate, Jeremy, when is the season starting? Are y'all on a different rhythm at this point because of COVID, or is what's going on with like the start of the season, and how's that going to coincide with card releases?
Well, they just announced like this past week, I think, that they're targeting, it's not official, but they're targeting a January 13th start date for the season. To be I think it's 56 or 56 game season. Usually it's 82. That's what they're targeting. The card season started with, didn't slow down. It started back in probably the first set probably came out back in August, and and yet we still are waiting for the final set from last year being the Cup, which we'll see eventually. It's just a matter of when, COVID slows down. It's a hand pack out. So, they have to be able to do it. Okay, Charles says, and because of the short printed WHA set with that error checklist, Jeremy, that alone is $500 in high grade, not including the main set. Look at this. The 14-year-old is keeping toe-to-toe with Colin, the non-14-year-old. I love it. You guys got to meet each other. That's wicked. Yeah, members only stadium club. Scott says, I'm getting hockey card lessons. Awesome. You are, Scott. This is the channel for that. Hockey is middle of January with a shortened season. Yes, it is. Will there be a hockey bubble? I think that what they're doing is they're realigning the divisions. There's going to be because we cannot cross the border from Canada to the US. So there's going to be a Canadian division and there's going to be 3 US divisions, and they're going to play within their own little their own divisions. Will there be a bubble per se? I'm not sure. I kind of got to think that there will be, but it's tough to say. Last I read is 56 games. Thank you. That's awesome. All Canadian division. It is pretty cool. NHL is working on getting vaccines for all players. Okay, well, that's cool. Maybe fingers crossed we get a season. We get the Stanley Cup, even if it's shortened. That is okay. 56 games is still a lot of games. You're still going to get a pretty good indication of who the best team is. And even if it would be different than if it was an 82-game schedule, but it isn't. It's the reality, and we all got to just be okay with it, right? This is funny. Legion's comment is funny. With the Canada divisions, one of your teams might make the playoffs. That's true. We'll probably get 3 or 4. We'll get 4 of them in the playoffs at least. So, but you're right, Legion. That's hilarious. Although last year we had quite a few of the teams make the playoffs. If you have any questions about late 90s, early 2000s releases, let me know. There's your expert in that era, which is awesome. Paul says 9 to 10 games, Battle of Alberta. Oilers brought back Mike Smith, so look out, Flames goalies. Well, we got Markstrom now, who's no slouch, but the Battle of Alberta is always a great battle. Edmonton Oilers versus the Calgary Flames. I'm a diehard Flames fan. I don't like getting into it with the Oilers fans. They're ruthless. Oilers fans are ruthless when it comes to razzing each other. Like they don't let up ever, and they always have those Stanley Cups in their back pocket. They got 5 of them. We got 1 up here, and I wasn't even a fan back then. So Peter says they will get crucified if they try to cut the line for COVID vaccines. Didn't Calgary have that issue with H1N1? Charles says, Igor Zamula, guys, invest now. I'm giving you gold.
I got one of his. Actually, that was another one I pulled.
Charles is a fan?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, of course, all I really want is Alexei. But I'm willing to have these other players grow on me as they appear in my packs.
Yeah. I just want to go back to Peter's comment here for a second. He says they will get crucified, and you know what? They will get crucified, but I think society realized just how important competitive sports are. It brings it's good for society. It gets people excited. It gives them some entertainment, especially when we're locked up. So I certainly agree with what Peter's saying. There will be people that will why should these rich athletes get vaccinated before these people? Of course that's going to happen, and there's complete validity to that claim, but there's also validity to the fact that a lot of the population wants professional sports back, and I personally would give up my place in line for a hockey player so I can get hockey and watch hockey. I'm willing to give up my place. I know I'm not alone in that, but I'm not willing to give up the place of someone who is compromised or someone who is more prone to getting it, a worse immune system. So yeah, that's a debate or an argument that I'm just not going to take part in. I'm going to stay out of it. Any thoughts, Joe?
I just appreciate what you said. I mean, that sounds right on the money. I mean, I think, the entertainment industry in all regards, be it movies or sports or whatnot, gives some people solace in a hard time. And so, if some of them are prioritized, not over people that, maybe in immune compromised situations, but yeah, just like you said, that makes sense to me. And, I think it's going to be an interesting spring, winter into spring with everything going on, and will the vaccines work? And, the NBA season, 72 games, that's a lot of games. I mean, I'm interested to see if they can sustain that and not, have all out shutdowns at some point. So
Yeah, I'm surprised that the NFL has managed to continue, to be honest, but it does, and that's I guess I don't know. It's good, it's bad. It just is. Barry says when the card count went from 396 to 264 from 84, 85 to 85, 86, I wasn't aware of the shorter set and kept buying packs looking for numbers higher than 264. I ended up with 4 Mario Lemieux rookie cards. That worked out well for you, Barry. That worked out well. That's hilarious. Costa, NBA preseason started yesterday. Yeah, good point. Good point. Oilers fans live in the past. Yeah, they do, because they're Stanley Cups. You can hardly remember them anymore. And I'm just having fun with you guys. And their claim to fame now is they get the first pick overall like 5 out of 6 years, and doesn't help them, unfortunately. But they got to build a team around Connor, and Connor has the skill to bring a Stanley Cup there with the right support. I don't doubt that at all. Although I certainly hope that the Flames beat them. 56 games, closer for Ovechkin to chip away at Gretzky's goals record. It is. It's going to be tough for him to do it, but it will be. It will be, yes. The Alex Faulkner rookie will forever be a mystery. I'm not familiar with the mystery, Charles, but I'm sure you can enlighten me. Ed Seat says Flir Retro happened because Upper Deck bought Flir and only had a college contract and no NBA or NFL. Yeah, so that's true for the basketball and the football products, but in 2012, they also did a hockey product that was licensed, and it's the first year we saw PMGs in hockey, and they're beautiful, and they're in the same design as the original PMGs from '97 basketball, and they're awesome, and they're licensed. So to me, the 2012 PMGs in hockey are the equivalent of the PMGs in '97 basketball.
Listen, everybody.
Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me. There for a second.
I'm saying you're dropping wisdom there.
I am. But when I say they're equivalent, I know people aren't going to agree with me because they came out 15 years later, and it's a retro product, but it's the first licensed PMG in hockey, and there was nothing before it. So to me, those are like really significant cards, and you're hard pressed to find them now. There are some up on eBay of like the lesser players, but to find a Gretzky or a Crosby in the green. There were blues as well. The blues were out of 50, and then the reds out of 100. They're all amazing cards, and I collect them. I'm not here to hype up anything I already own. I'm going to be full transparency. I collect them. I own them. I chase them.
There's a Gretzky PMG blue.
Yes. You want me to show it to you?
Yeah, I mean that sounds really interesting and pretty yeah. I mean, I'm almost wondering rookie card or Gretzky PMG blue.
If you can find it, Joe, if you can find it. So here, I'm going to show you guys the Gretz, because I own the green. I have one of the greens out of 10, which I got really lucky. I hit the buy it now. I sort of hit the buy it now on eBay. So it's going to pop up right away here. Let me take the banner down for a moment.
Oh yeah.
And take the comment down. So there you go. That's the PMG blue. This is out of 50, and then I have the green as well right there. That I bought that on eBay. It went up in the middle of the day. I made a best offer. He countered me, met me in the middle, and I just hit buy it now because I knew if I didn't, it was going to get snapped up. I basically bought it within a half an hour of it being listed, and if I didn't, it would have been. And I mean, I think I got a smoking deal on it, and I think this card there's only 10 of them, obviously. I think this card is worth a substantial amount of money right now. At least I wouldn't even consider selling it for less than a big number. I'm not going to put it out there because I don't want to take criticism. But
are these raw, or do you have them in slabs?
They're raw. But I'll eventually slab them, and I don't care what they grade. It can grade a 4. I'll love it just as much. A 3, not as much. A 4, I'm good with though.
One of those walk-in deliveries, right? Like I'm gonna walk into PSA, or
I'm going to deliver them to them at the National, whether it's 2021 or 2020. I'm in no rush to get these graded. No rush at all, but I will get them graded.
They look sharp, by the way.
What's that?
They look sharp, by the way. I mean, they look crisp and
I also crop my pictures, so they may be not as crisp as they look. So yeah. Oh, here, I just realized I have this one as well. Oh, no. Sorry, there we go. I got the Crosby also. So I've got the Crosby and the Gretzky on lockdown, which is
that's nice.
very, pleased with that.
Yeah, I like the full, like that's a good angle on his expression there.
Yeah, it's a great card. Great picture and everything. Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, thanks for letting me show those off tonight. That's fun. Okay, go to some comments. We're at the hour 15 mark, and in here I gotta put back up the last call. Last call comes up after the 1 hour mark of overtime. Just having fun with overlays, guys. Having fun with overlays. So back to the comments though, because there's a lot coming in here that I do want to talk about. We saw that one. Legion wants to know, is Patrick Marlow going to make the Hall of Fame? Man, that's a good question. He will probably go down as the most games played. He'll probably get the most games played record. He hasn't won a Stanley Cup. He's an Olympian. I think he's a gold medalist. I think someone can confirm that. I don't know. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. Does having the most games played get you the Hall of Fame when you don't have much else going for you in terms of individual awards or team success? I don't think so. But I wouldn't hate it if he got in at the same time. Oz Cardad says the NBA, I think, has overreached with scheduling 72 games. They did it to get TV money. Need to play 70 for that money to kick in. Yeah, hey, it's business, man. It's business. That's but hopefully they don't put anyone's health at risk and they do it right. If they do it right, then go for it. But hopefully they do. When does the cup usually release? I'm sure it will be pretty pricey. It's always pricey. It usually releases in like late October, early November. At the beginning of time, it came out in May the first year. It kept on getting pushed back. And now it's this year. I think we'll probably hear about it pretty soon. We got to hear about it. I mean, I know it's going to come out. They're not putting it out. It's going to come out. And it just matters when are they going to let us know? Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Charles says more to it. He was a short print that year. This is the Faulkner. No idea why, and no one does. Maybe due to him being the least known at the time, or it could be just where he fell on the sheet that was being cut, and maybe they had to give one guy the short print, and he was it. Okay, Legion is someone who watched him play most of his career. He was never the best player on his team. We're talking about Patrick Marlow. He's a career aggregator. He'll likely get in, though, due to the games played record. Yeah. Here we go. The Alexis Lafreniere exclusive jersey number 13 of 100 was pulled yesterday. Well, look at that. That's going to go for big money. That's going to go for probably 10 grand. Would a Gretzky PMG Green PSA 10 be $1 million card? No, I do not think it would be. I do not think it would be at all. Not even close. I think a Gretzky PMG Green would maybe, not even close. I don't think so. I'd like it to be because I have one. But I think you're talking more like 15,000, if that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the way the PMG Green Jordan. I mean, these are like the corollaries here. Goat meets goat. I can tell you what. I'm going to be looking on eBay tonight to see what kind of PMG action is out there. Like a low grade. I'll take anything to get in.
Yeah, well, maybe, and I don't think you'll find a green. I think the greens are done. They're locked up in collections. Mine is off the market forever, for decades anyway. So, and I don't know about the other 9, but I know a couple other guys that have one, and I know that they're not moving them.
I mean, there's got to be a point with all of these cards, right? I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this as a longtime collector, where you go back to a card that you had looked at various moments, and you're like, oh my goodness, I should have gotten into this a long time ago and I didn't. And, for me, that just recently was the 61 Chamberlain, because that card was not unattainable in a pretty high grade, just, 5 to 10 years ago. So anyway, somewhere along the line, I guess what I'm saying is there's these hyperspace moments for certain cards that are deemed to be iconic. And I could see some hyperspace moments ahead for a Gretzky PMG anything.
Hey man, I hope you're right, and I'd love it for the hobby. I'm going to show you another card that I think is greatly undervalued, and I think I have 2 copies of it. I'm going to show you my graded copy. I had this graded myself. I think there's maybe one on ComC right now, so let's let someone go snap this up. But this is in the spirit of the platinum portraits and the metal fusion cards. This guy right here. This is you can't see it under the banner. I'll take the banner down for you guys to see it.
Oh, interesting.
So this is 97 Studio. It's a Donruss product. It's the silhouettes. So it's got the same laser etched silhouette, obviously, of Gretzky. Not the prettiest card with the blue, but it's not bad. I've had this graded myself, came back an 8, which I'm good with. Of course, I'd like a 9 or a 10. And but this is a tough card. You look at there's other players in the set, and you can see them on ComC, and you look at them up close. It's hard to find one with really nice edges and all that. So, but I think this is a card that I'm not trying to hype it because I'm not selling mine, but I would say this is a card I would point people to as one that's probably worth picking up. I'm bullish on it. I think it's undervalued. I think it's got potential.
It reminds me a little bit of, I'm not sure if it's Metal or they had those Little texture dots with, there's a big Jordan card in that.
Platinum Portraits.
Okay, same. There it is. Okay, so the corollary, the parallel universe, hockey to basketball.
And something I want to let you know, because you're getting excited about the PMGs in hockey right now. There's several years of PMGs in hockey, not just the 12-13s. They came out in future years as well. You've got them in 2013. They look different. They came out again in 2014. I'll show you. You'll like this one because I have the Gretzky graded. This is let it come up here. So this is the 2014 Flir Showcase. Ooh. It's basically a PMG green. This is out of 10. I think this is the one that's out of 10 versus it's out of 100, but the second 90 or the last 90 are red in color. But this is, as far as PMG Gretzky goes, this is the 2014 green. So that's a big card too. I think there's one on eBay right now for big money. I forget the grade and all that, but someone was asking, and I think it's raw as well, but wicked card.
That's kind of fascinating because it shows the extension of the Flir Metal, DNA, if you will. And I'm not sure how far the basketball went. This looks like, I'm trying to imagine if there's a Jordan version.
I think it's an original design for this particular product. I do believe so.
It's super cool though. You can totally feel the metal influence.
Oh, for sure you can. And then this is the last year of them. This is 2016-17. This is the Flir Showcase Metal Universe PMG green Crosby in a 9. So this is my copy of this card, which is also a great card.
Wow.
But yeah, really cool.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Anytime you see that metal kind of logo there with the kind of ribbon-esque effect, and then in this particular example, I don't know Sidney Crosby too well, but the penguin is nice, and the kind of green with the yellow is working in the black.
Well, Crosby is the generational superstar. He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Like, he's as shoo-in as it gets since Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. And what I don't like about this card though is this design element here. This jagged Z, almost a Z-shaped ribbon going by with the the name, the team, and the position. I don't love that. I'd rather that was gone and there was green there, or just his jersey instead. But hey, it is what it is. It's still a pretty cool card.
I just want to point out your 0.5 from a 9.5 on that one.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Corners or edges. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you for that.
The crossover mode. I don't do that, but I know some people put a lot of time into that.
For sure. Okay, let's get back to some comments, and then we're going to wrap up here pretty good. Legion says, Marlow, best eyebrows in the NHL, part not hilarious. And Mike Antonovich says, Charles, you throw out the names, man. For a 14-year-old guy, you throw out the names. Paul C., good night to you if you're still there. Great to have you as always. No Phil Markkinen slapshot. Oh, from the movie? Missed out on Pelly Lindbergh, PMG Blue. Oh, too bad, Charles. That'd be a cool card. Legion, Dave Andreychuk is a big example of an aggregator people point to, but Dave Andreychuk won a Stanley Cup. That's a big difference. He won one with Tampa Bay. Legion says, nice looking card. Bring back Showcase. Murder Synergy. I know you've been saying that for a while, Legion. You do not like Synergy. That's where me and Legion don't agree. I like Synergy. Now, I don't like cracking it, but I like some singles from it for sure. Hockey had metal in the 90s, but never got PMG. It's very true. There was metal. There was a Flir metal product, and it's just like the same. It's got those cool superhero type backgrounds, just like the card that you have, the Jordan does, but there were no PMG parallels. They missed the boat for some reason. They didn't put them in there. So missed opportunity, but I think for me, it makes the 2012 version that much better that it is now the first, right? But those cards are pretty awesome. And I'm looking for a Gretzky base card in nice shape from that set, just to represent the set in my collection.
Totally. The what if of the original 90s.
Yeah, exactly. The missing link. Oscar Dad, the only other basketball PMG was same year, 97, 98, was Metal Universe Championship. Serial to 50 had the scope pattern and the cityscape background. Yeah, so, and those are amazing cards. And one just sold for like $110,000 a Jordan, I think, in the Mile Higher, the Heritage auction this week. And yes, amazing cards. Some people find them nicer than the regular, than the green PMGs and all that. Beautiful card, beautiful card. The one-of-one masterpieces are nice for sure. Tough to find. Behind the Tank says 95-96 Metal was the first year for hockey. They released the product the next year to make the players look like superheroes, and I think it flopped. Flir put zero effort into the issue. Yeah, too bad. Too bad. You got some cards you want to show before we sign off for the night?
Well, we talked a little bit about the Flir Retro, and while this is not metal, it's very closely aligned. It's Skybox. And so this is a LeBron, and we've talked a little bit about serial numbered tonight, and I'm not sure if you can see this. This one is 6 of 50, so LeBron's jersey number 6, and 8.5. I guess that's a little bit of a limitation. I'm trying to get a good angle.
Try and tilt the top towards your screen a little bit. That might help. No, it doesn't help. Is that a Rubies?
Yeah, it's the Ruby, it's the what if LeBron, and the card definitely pops. It's a little this is one of those moments where you buy something on eBay like in 2000 and whatever it was 16, and then you're like, okay, you forget about that card and you come back later and it's like, oh my God, with the way the hobby's trended, it's all sort of jumped up and people are appreciating different things. So you go, oh, what do I have here?
Yeah. It's cool, man. Very cool. And Oscar Dad likes it. I do too.
I just want to say, like, here I am saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to go look for a Gretzky PMG green. I guess I'm probably not realizing the magnitude of what we're talking about here. So my apologies. I've got to stay humble with maybe I'll find like some scrub green is out there that I could at least
There are. You're just not gonna. I just don't think you're gonna find the red. I think people are gonna hang on to them right now. You might find a red, which is out of 100, and even that, I think I saw a red out there for like $2,300, which blows my mind. I mean, it blows my mind, but at the same time, that's where the hobby's at right now. So it's definitely a plausible price, I guess. It's crazy where we're at, but that's where we're at. So, all right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. Joe, thank you for popping on with me. I appreciate it. Always great to have you. Charles says we need a Jeremy rookie card. That'd be super awesome. I'd love to have my own card. Who wouldn't, right? Who doesn't want maybe the Jeremy Roenick rookie with a twist. There you go. Well, so who put it was oh gosh, now I'm gonna feel like a jerk. I can't remember. Oh, it was John Newman put together an Anders Lee card. My last name's Lee, Anders Lee for the Islanders. He took an Anders Lee card, put my head on it, and put it in the Facebook group. If you saw that was pretty funny. Don't you have a rookie card? I feel like I've seen it. It's out there. I have a few cards that I've had made at the at card shows, where Upper Deck sets up. They'll take a picture, put on a card, and give it to you. I do have some of those that I have. I have one made by PSA and one made by Upper Deck. I'll show the Upper Deck one just before we go, because it looks like a young gun. It's pretty cool. I love it. I mean, but I only have like 2 or 3 copies of it, so it's not like it's really a card I have. Like it's no Amit rookie card. Like Amit's got tons of his own rookie card, a box of them probably. Here, while you're pulling it up, Jeremy, I just want to acknowledge you're doing such awesome work right now as a content creator, and I really appreciate your show, and just so happy to be able to be online with you and get to know
the card collecting world with you. Oh my goodness, look at that, a little Upper Deck influence there. What is that?
That is the design of the Young Gun from this set right here.
Ah,
yeah, that's the original Young Guns logo right there. And yeah, it's a pretty cool. And back then, PSA would actually slab a card for you that was in the design of an existing card set. Now they won't do this. Even with the green label, they won't slab and green label any card that is in the same design as a card that existed. So like a Meats rookie card, which is in the design of the Mario Lemieux, they won't slab it, even in a green slab. But back then they did this. So yeah, I had this made. Well, they did it for me at the card show. I have a couple copies of it. I got one gray. I got the best condition one slabbed, and I keep it for myself. But yeah, thought it was pretty cool. I like it. And then I have this one here as well that I got done by PSA.
Nice.
At the 2017 show. I got one done each day. I got this one done with my name on it, and then my daughter was just born, so I had one with my daughter's name is Bridget, so I have Bridget's daddy as my name on the other version, which is a different, wearing the same hat, but I'm wearing a different shirt, I think it is. Yeah. So there you go. I see someone is asking, is it on real card stock? I think it's on like a more of a photo type of photo card stock versus actual card stock. Okay, we'll run through the final comments here. I want to thank everybody for joining us on After Hours. Great viewership again tonight, guys. So thank you so much. Legion, always a pleasure to have you, my man. Name, thank you very much. Oz Card Dad, pleasure to have you. Barry, awesome to have you as always. Charles, thank you so much. Chris, exposing his print runs. Value is now tanking. Yeah, so again, I think I addressed the card stock thing. I have to look at, I have a copy that's not graded. What's that?
I think it's going up, but
yeah. That's the next $1 million card. Right on, Charles, right on. Jeremy should recreate the Solani duck shooting with his stick for his rookie. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. All right, guys. Joe, hang tight for 1 minute. Everybody else, guys, thanks a lot for joining. This has been one crazy 2 days of content and live streaming for myself, but it's been fun. So we are going to sign off. To everybody listening on the podcast, guys, I just want to recognize that I'm sorry that you don't see what I'm putting up on the screen and what we're showing each other, but hopefully you get through that and still enjoy the content. And to those of you watching in the future, I hope you enjoyed this. The future, that could be tomorrow or 20 years from now. Who knows? But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we will be back. Keep your eyes on the Facebook group and the channel. So thank you so much. Final comments here. Royal said, great show. Good luck, Joe, on your collecting journey. That's really nice, Royal. It's really nice. And same to you. Same to you as well. All right. We are signing off. Good night, everybody.